Welcome to NBA Today with Malika Andrews, live from Los Angeles.
Coming up on NBA Today, what kind of ripple effect could we see after the Lakers extended Anthony Davis to the richest annual extension in NBA history? Our panel has some big thoughts on his big bag. And sticking in the West, who are the biggest contenders in the conference? We're going to dive into what we could expect for the Memphis Grizzlies heading into next season. Plus, we check out Vegas, and we're going to check in on Team USA. They're set to play Puerto Rico tonight in a FIBA tune-up game. All that and so much more. NBA Today starts right now. Welcome to NBA Today. I'm Malika Andrews. Happy Monday, everybody. I hope you all had a wonderful weekend, although it's kind of tough to imagine it rivaling how Anthony Davis got his weekend started, because the Lakers and AD agreed on a 3-year, $186 million deal that keeps the 8-time All-Star in Los Angeles through the 2028 season. That extension, it pushes his total contract to $270 million. That's averaging an NBA record $62 million per year. And Rob Pelinka and agent Rich Paul, they wasted no time after Davis was eligible to sign a deal on Friday, with the GM saying, quote, "He's been an incredible captain and an incredible leader." So, I mean, that is a big old bag as we say hello to Kendrick Perkins for Anthony Davis. And Perk, here's the deal. I'm looking at my notes right here. The Oxford English Dictionary. Yeah. It contains definitions for 171,476 words. I know you know each and every one of them. So I need a word of the day. How are we going to describe this deal for Anthony Davis and your expectations for him?
Well, I don't know if you've seen Players Club, but the great Bernie Mac was, one of the major actors in there. And he was like, Chi-Town, don't pay a country boy nothing. So I'm going to Chicago, and I'm thinking about Anthony Davis tied with Chicago, from Chicago. So the word of the day is Joe, okay? Joe.
Okay.
Joe, okay? It's a pronoun replacement of friend, homie, etc. Joe can be your mother, brother, best friend, or your worst enemy. Example, dang, Joe, I'm tired as hell.
Okay.
So when I think about Anthony Davis, let me get into my Chi-Town character for a minute. On my mama, Joe, the people just paid you $186 million. On my mama, you gotta elevate your game. On my mama, Joe, LeBron James is going on 40. It's time for you to take over, Joe. It's time for you just not to be a top 5 talent, Joe. It's time for you to put your name in the same conversation with Giannis Antetokounmpo, Joe. Come on now, Joe. The Lakers riding with you, Joe. You're in the prime of your career, Joe. Let's get to it, Joe. Take over the keys, Joe.
All right, I think I'm getting this. This is like the spelling bee when you need to use it in a sentence. They need you to play it. They need you to play at an MVP level, Joe, like that. Did I do that right?
Yeah, but you got to have a little bit more, you know what I'm saying? On my mama, Joe.
On my mama, Joe. We need you to be at an MVP level, Joe. Carry the hell on, Joe, like that. Kendrick Perkins, I appreciate you, my friend. All right, here's the deal, Perk. AD, he averaged 26 points, 12.5 rebounds, 2 blocks, shooting a career-best 56% from the floor last season. It was the 5th time he had averaged 25 points, 2 blocks in a season, the 3rd highest in NBA history, behind only a couple of top overall picks, Shaquille O'Neal, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Chiney Ogwumike knows a little something about being the #1 overall pick, and I feel like you have some stats. We need to talk nerdy in order to understand Anthony Davis.
Talk nerdy to me, Joe. You get what I'm saying? Let's get it. It was on my mama, Joe, for me, Malika. It's wild. Let's talk nerdy to y'all. When Anthony Davis suits up, he is a straight-up force for the Lakers. Let's start, though, with his offense and how he gets his buckets. Now, look at this number. AD was 4th in the league in scoring in the restricted area last season. He had 593 points down there. That's a lot. That's the most in any season he's had so far with the Lakers, and the 2nd most of his career. So let's take a look. Run me my tape producer, Jay Ram, baby, and Jason, baby, at his offense. Now, this right here is a screen-the-screener flare action that gets him downhill. This is his bread and butter. Good visibility. LeBron, great assister. This is what we know him for, but this is what gets me excited right here, this play. Everyone remembers in high school, he grew a foot. He started playing as a point guard, so he's got ball handling skills. Offensively, they're separating. They're outside the three-point line, so he can cook in this one-on-one matchup. He wants to get to the rim. What does he do here? Watch this. Tween, hezzy, finish. Gotta love that. This skill set is straight up worth the money. Now, we all know what AD provides defensively, on the other hand, also for the Lakers, but I don't know if you guys all know how vital his defense is. On the floor with the Lakers, they have the best defense when he's playing defense. I mean, straight up rim protector. Now, when he's off, that's the 22nd best defense. So I guess, what is that, 8th worst? So look at that juxtaposition. Best defense in the NBA when he's playing defense, and when he's off the floor, 22nd in the NBA. So let's talk about how crucial and vital this defense is. All right, we all know he's a rim protector. He's guarding the guy highlighted, Tillman. All right, there's the attack. This team right here leads the NBA in points in the paint. But when you have a guy like AD who hustles, who can really affect that rim verticality, it's awesome. Now, this play right here is why he's worth all the money. Taking on Steph when it matters most. This series right here, the Lakers are 2-1 up on the Warriors. This defensive series, this isolation, keeping his distance, not fouling the greatest three-point shooter of all time. And then there's another possession when he's on an island and he's able to switch and get another, nice miss. Look at the time and score, and look at the big picture here. That defensive sequence put the Lakers up 3-1 in the Western semis to really help them get to the Western finals. So AD, what he's able to do offensively and defensively is clutch. Run him his money, and I'm glad he got that bag.
Oh, my mama, Joe. I appreciate the breakdown. I'm still trying to work
the Joes in.
Kendrick Perkins as we say hello to our senior writer, Ramona Shelburne. Ramona, so this deal, I mean, it is the richest contract extension in NBA history. Why did the Lakers and Anthony Davis decide that they want to marry for the future, for the foreseeable future?
I mean, there's essentially two paths that could have gone down.
Yeah.
You sign him to the 3-year deal, 3-year extension now. You have harmony in training camp. There's no questions. He is locked up as the future of your franchise, that pillar that takes you beyond when LeBron James is a Laker. Now, we assume LeBron James will be a Laker as long as he wants to be a Laker, but that time will come to an end at some point. And Anthony Davis is now under contract for 5 more years. The other path they could have gone down is let him play it out and then sign the 5-year deal that puts him past Jaylen Brown and as the biggest contract in NBA history. But that's a whole year of uncertainty, and the Lakers are trying to win now. Right. They wanted to lock him in, and one of the things that I think was very interesting is they didn't just pick up the phone and call Rich Paul, his agent, on the first day they could offer him the deal. They had a meeting with Rich Paul, Darvin Ham, Rob Pelinka on the first day they could offer him the deal, and they talked about what it would mean for him to sign this contract. Like, they made it very clear to him, we see you as the future of our franchise, but you got to know everything that comes with it.
Yeah.
The face of our franchise and what is expected of the face of our franchise, and he was on board before he put pen to paper.
Well, that's the interesting thing, is because bringing Perk back into the conversation, having the highest average salary in the league, it comes with a whole lot of responsibilities. Yeah. Being the face of a franchise, it comes with a lot of responsibilities, and I imagine it comes with some pressure too, right? So it's not just casting checks, it's also being under a microscope, particularly if you're in Los Angeles. But do you think, Kendrick Perkins, as we look around the entire league, as we talk about Kyrie Irving and what he needs to bring to the Dallas Mavericks, as we talk about Ja Morant when he eventually returns for the Memphis Grizzlies, is it Anthony Davis that is under the most pressure of any player, or is it somebody else?
Absolutely not. And although he's getting paid top dollar and he deserves it, we have to look at a guy that's in the Phoenix Suns uniform in Devin Booker. We're talking about a guy that actually led a team to the finals 2 seasons ago and had a 2-0 lead. Or 3 seasons ago and had a 2-0 lead. So when I think about Devin Booker and I think about what the front office has did for us upgrading their personnel, bringing in, trading for Kevin Durant, trading for Bradley Beal, being able to keep DeAndre Ayton. You have 2 future Hall of Famers that are still in their prime playing alongside of you. It's time for Devin Booker to rise to the occasion and complete the mission. You can't ask for a better complementary players. Well, I don't even want to call them that. You can't ask for better if you're Devin Booker when it comes to playing with a Bradley Beal and a Kevin Durant. So when I look at who's under the most pressure, it's Devin Booker in my eyes. He has to get it done.
Interesting.
I mean, for me, it's Kawhi Leonard and the Los Angeles Clippers. When they are all healthy and together, that is a team that we expect to contend for championships. But there's really been only 1 year that they've been healthy, that Kawhi's been healthy at the end of the season. That was the bubble year where they went out. And the other years, when he has been healthy, he's been fantastic. Yeah. But continues to get hurt at the wrong time of year, has not played a lot in the regular season. This is year 5 of this experience. Remember in 2019 when they went and got Kawhi and Paul George? They're going into their 5th season together.
That's
this
wild.
is. And we saw one Western Conference championship. You just keep thinking about how much longer they're going to run this back. Plus, you have the variable of the new arena opening next season. Not this coming season, but the following season. They got to have a squad going in there.
I actually waffled on this, no surprise there, but I'm going Damian Lillard because don't laugh at me, waffle. That's
laugh.
another word in the dictionary, Perk. Okay. But I'm going Dame, but I think he's gonna meet the expectations of this pressure. But I say he asked out finally, right?
Yeah.
And now he gave a kind of specific preference, Miami. And so now he has the opportunity to not only like try to put himself in a place where they're just coming off of a finals run, but also like achieve, right?
Yeah.
MVP. I mean, this guy, he fills all the holes necessary for them to be successful. They were last in points per game last year, 27th in three-point shooting. This, over his career, 37% three-point shooter. He's 6th all-time in made threes. I think people sleep on that. So this fit works for him perfectly. The expectations are going to be like, we just saw y'all there. Now the pressure is on Dame to carry them through.
See, I'm still looking at Kyrie Irving because he pinned on his ex.
Yep.
Essentially,
I
watch
can't get
me,
used to
right?
the X yet, but okay.
The folks scouting him, the folks saying that you haven't done anything since 2016. Where have you won? Blah blah blah.
I just processed that.
Yeah, right. X, Twitter, X, whatever we call it. Posted on social media that, you know what? No, watch me. I'm here to do this. And we saw just a small sample size of what him and Luka Doncic were able to do together on the floor. But when the clock is ticking on Luka, everybody is looking at that supporting cast, and that supporting cast is led by Kyrie Irving. He absolutely has it in him. He's one of the most electric players, has arguably the best handles. Actually, I would say the best handles in the league today.
Yeah.
It's just about winning time, and Kyrie Irving has to prove it in Dallas.
How did none of us say Joel Embiid, by the way?
Is it Joel or is it Daryl Morey?
Yeah.
Right?
Or the
Like, I feel
Sixers
like it's
overall.
both.
The Sixers
The
squad.
Sixers squad
Yeah,
to
so
prove
much
it
going-
to Joel.
Every single season he got to deal with some type of dysfunctional, teammate or a disgruntled teammate.
Right.
It's not his fault. I can't put pressure on
Hey,
Joel.
I mean, the Sixers
Fair
are
enough.
starting
He's
some
done this for him.
camp at UCLA. We'll see who shows up. We'll see who's working out. There's a lot going on in the NBA, even in the height of August. All right, still to come on our show. I mentioned John Morant. What are the expectations for the Memphis Grizzlies next season? How are they going to fare without Ja for the first 25 games? Well, Jaren Jackson Jr., he has some fresh thoughts on that. And Brittany Griner returned to the court this weekend after stepping away to focus on her mental health. Hear what she had to say about the
to NBA Today.
Welcome back to NBA Today, and welcome back, Brittney Griner. The Mercury Center returned to action Saturday after missing the team's past 3 games for mental health reasons. She had 22 points, 6 rebounds, 4 assists in the Mercury's 97-91 loss to the Seattle Storm. And after the game, she spoke about her time away. Take a listen.
There's no plan with mental health, really. There's no plan for that. You can't plan for when you might need some time or anything, but I just want to shout out the Phoenix Mercury organization. From the jump, they were there for me, making sure I was good, letting me know that at any moment, if I needed some time off, I could do that, and I would come back and everything would be fine.
It's hard to imagine everything that she's had to endure, everything that she's had to go through, and then coming back to play basketball. Chiney, you've played against Brittney this season. You've had conversations with her. How important is it that players are able to speak up here about the importance of their mental health, and for Brittney specifically?
So important for players to speak up, and not only players to speak up, but for Brittney to do what she did, because she deserved that time to rest. She gave us tremendous moments to start this season. I'll never forget, at our scrimmage, there's a cute image of myself and my sister hugging her before the season started, because that was the first time we got to see Brittney since all of the situations that happened over the past year. And then we play them in our first game of the season, the WNBA tip-off on our network, which I believe had the highest ratings ever for a WNBA game. And that was a lot. That game was... It felt like a circus. It was beautiful, though. It was amazing. It's something I'll cherish, especially because our team won the Sparks. That was a great game for us. But it was also a huge moment for her family, for the nation. I mean, I met through this opportunity the vice president of our country. And so she was carrying so much weight going into the WNBA season. And so for her to say that, hey, I need to prioritize my mental health and take this rest. And also the beauty of the W is saying, like, go do what you have to do. We'll hold things down for you. I think that was very important. And lastly, I'll just say this. This is a week where I hope these conversations continue to be amplified, because we just saw Simone Biles return to the floor and compete in gymnastics. We heard, as you probably will talk about, Ricky Rubio. This is important for people to normalize, and I'm also glad that BG uses her platform to speak her mind and to speak her truth. And lastly, I see you coming back with 22 and 6, like slight word. Okay, okay, BG.
Right,
okay,
exactly.
BG.
It's so important, though, right, Chiney? Like, individuals are respected here, right? We use this broad term, mental health, and that can mean so many different things, and it means something different for each person, how that feels for each person. And Brittney's one of numerous athletes, right, who've been vocal, transparent about the hardships that they've been facing on and off of the floor. In the past, I think of Kevin Love, I think of DeMar DeRozan. They've been open about it. Just this weekend, you mentioned Ricky Rubio. He announced that he's going to be stepping away from basketball, taking a mental health break here. And why I mentioned the individuality perk is that sometimes you feel so small, and you need to respect that maybe the way that you're hurting isn't the same way that somebody else is hurting. But when there's these collective voices, then you feel that impact. So how big of a step do you think, Perk, it is in the right direction, that there is this broader acceptance, this compassion for athletes as they're facing these mental health issues?
Well, Malika, not only is it just about the collective voices, it's the powerful voices and the people that's doing it, right? When these people are speaking out, these powerful athletes are saying that they're stepping away to protect their mental health or to go seek help for their mental health, because so many people in the younger generation are afraid to go seek some type of counseling or, whatever type of help they may need because of the way that their peers may look at them. Like, when I was growing up in the African-American community, you better not say that you were going to seek help for mental health. Like, you would get laughed at, you would get judged, you would get looked at a certain type of way. And now, all of a sudden, making this normal, like Chiney said, is so great for the younger generation. Because now, when it was 15, 20 years ago, people used to get laughed at. Now, a person better not laugh at someone that's going to get their mental health in check or taking a break or go and get help. So it's a powerful thing, especially when us four on this television as well, could share our stories about mental health. Like, I had to go seek help, and we had a counselor in Oklahoma City. Her name was Angela, and you were able to stop by our office when you needed to actually talk about certain things that you were going through in life. And we all go through stuff. It don't matter if you're a famous NBA player,
Yeah.
football player, how much money you make, you're gonna go through some things where you have to go and seek help, and it's okay.
I think when Brittany talked about her situation, I think we all knew about Brittany's situation, right? We all knew what happened to her. And so it wasn't like you were understandable when she came out and said, I'm having some of these issues. A lot of times, though, you never know what's beneath the surface. Like, we're all just the tip of the iceberg, and you never know what's beneath the surface of anybody. We all get on here on TV. Like, I'll be open about my own stuff. Like, whenever, I've had 2 babies, every single time after you have a baby, whew, postpartum stuff is no joke. And I just schedule sessions with my therapist in advance, knowing that that's going to come, because after you have a baby, whoo, that is something every time. And so I think when you look at people who are in sports and they're under the grind and they go through the things they do every single day, I'm so happy that Brittany talks about it, that Ricky Rubio does, that everybody, that is normalized now, because nobody knows what's beneath the surface at any point.
Yeah. Go ahead, Perk.
And to be honest with y'all, I'm surprised this didn't happen sooner for Brittany.
Yeah.
We have to remember, she was in jail in a whole nother country, right? Can you imagine how that felt? Look, I actually went to jail at one point. I didn't spend a day, but I spent 8 hours, and it was the worst 8 hours of my damn life. So I can only imagine how it felt for her to be incarcerated and be in a whole nother country and waiting every day go by, and you know the support that you're getting, but it's almost feel like it's no end, or you don't know when it's gonna come to an end. And all of a sudden you get to the United States, and yes, we welcome her with open arms as we should be, but I'm surprised this didn't come sooner, because again, she has been through so much in a short period of time, and so much overwhelming situations. And even when she returned back and started playing, everybody wasn't just giving her good vibes. You're gonna have those negative people out there in the world that's gonna be shouting crazy stuff far as the fan base. So I'm good for her.
And it probably would have come sooner, but she felt the weight of the world to carry on, her popularity and make this a moment for the league to celebrate, which was great. But then also it delayed the onset of probably what she was feeling, which is why I'm glad her team and the players and the organization, as she really commended the Phoenix Mercury for having her back to say, this is your time to take. Like, we appreciate all you've done. And she earned that time.
So often, sadness, hurt, depression, whatever the feeling may be, it thrives in those dark, silent, isolated places, right? And so for Brittany, for Ricky Rubio, for Kevin Love and DeMar DeRozan previously, and I say previously, I don't know that. Like, there's so many times that we talk about this being something in the past. In my experience, it's something that you grapple with every single day as you pull yourself together to take on another day. But being able to speak about it and talk about it out loud and to say, hey, you're not alone, and maybe if you feel this, then I do too. That, for what Brittany is doing, what Ricky Rubio is doing, what so many others are doing, what Simone Biles is doing, that is so, so important. So while we're so glad to see Brittany Griner back on the court because she is such a monster, so much fun to watch play, it's even more fun knowing that she's okay between here so that she can give us her best when it comes to the game that we all love. Thank you so much, everyone, Ramona, Chiney, Perk, for this conversation. I really appreciate your openness, because hopefully, Perk, as you said, hearing from us, hearing from Brittany, maybe someone who's watching right now feels a little bit more seen today. Still to come on our show, we're going to get a first look at Team USA tonight. They face off against Puerto Rico in the first game of the summer. Our panel picks the players they're going to be watching closely in this one. This should be fun. Plus, the Liberty. I mean, they did something that hasn't been done all season. Rebecca Lobo, she joins on how they dominated the best team in the WNBA. Do not miss that conversation. And, I mean, it is officially the dog days of summer in many ways. So check out what Shaq and Steph are up to this offseason. I want to have the kind of fun that they're having. Well, we will later on the show. We'll be right back.
Is we are here to give you the very best possible experience. It's the experiences. Can you win? Like, can you bond with your teammates? Can you feel those moments in the locker room?
Jaren Jackson Jr.
Yes, you're going to play in the NBA for years, but it's the experiences.
Brunson a three-pointer. It's good! Oh, Anthony Edwards.
We're going to give you everything we have as a staff, and you guys are going to give us everything you have. It'll be an amazing experience.
Steve Kerr has us fired up because the countdown is on for our first look at Team USA's World Cup team action. Tonight, the Americans take on Puerto Rico in Las Vegas. The squad's sole tune-up game stateside before heading to Spain and Abu Dhabi for 4 more warm-up games before the tournament officially kicks off on August 26th. Now, Team USA is looking to bounce back from a 7th-place finish in the 2019 FIBA World Cup, although no players from that tournament's roster are on the one for 2023. In fact, nobody on USA's 12-man roster has any Olympic or World Cup experience. As we say hello to Tim Bontemps, who is live from Las Vegas, where you've been covering Team USA all week, and you were able to actually watch the first few days of training camp here. After watching, what were your biggest takeaways from the team practice here?
Well, Malika, you just talked about the lack of experience and the youth that's on this team. And it was really, I think, interesting to hear Steve Kerr talk a lot over the past several days about how much he's going to lean on Knicks point guard Jalen Brunson to be the leader of this group. You mentioned this team has no senior international experience. Yep. There's nobody that's made an All-NBA team. There's a bunch of guys that are on the rookie deals. This is a young team that's going into FIBA competition where games are really physical. The refs are certainly not up to the same standard typically as the NBA, and there's going to be adversity at times during this tournament. And Steve Kerr has made it clear that Jalen Brunson is the guy that's going to lead this team through this tournament. It's very clear he's going to be his starting point guard, and he's going to be the guy that he counts on to guide this group through what's going to be a very challenging several weeks. Team USA has only won the gold medal twice in this tournament in the last 30 years. It is not like the Olympic Games. We've struggled a lot, finished 7th in 2019, obviously lost to France in the quarterfinals. Certainly this group would love to win the gold medal. Steve Kerr is counting on Jalen Brunson to be a big part of getting this team over the finish line.
There's some tough competition out there, too, right? When you look at France, when you look at Canada, especially the teams that they're putting together. But, Tim, you wrote that there were rave reviews, right, coming out of camp. And not just for the guys that are on Team USA, but for one in particular who's on the select team. What more can you tell us about Cade Cunningham's weekend?
Well, as you said, Malika, Cade Cunningham was dominant for the select team in scrimmages on Friday and Saturday. Now, it's a very time-honored tradition at Team USA camps for the select team to win the first day of scrimmages and then get beat down by the senior national team on the second day. That did play out over Friday and Saturday scrimmages, but the guy who was great both days was Cade Cunningham, the #1 pick in the 2021 draft, who only played 12 games last year because of a stress fracture in his left leg. He had to have surgery on that injury. He missed the last 9 months. But seeing him back out there in a competitive setting, he looked like he didn't miss any time at all. Steve Kerr had him playing in a Luka Doncic-type role that he'll play for Slovenia in the tournament. The select team usually runs a bunch of stuff that they're going to see in the World Cup from other countries. And Cade was getting wherever he wanted on the court. He was bossing guys like Jalen Brunson and Tyrese Halliburton inside. He was getting into the lane and hitting his teammate Jalen Duren from the Pistons with passes for buckets. He was really, really impressive. And obviously, if he hadn't had that injury, perhaps he'd have been part of the senior national team. Certainly could have helped. But if you're a Pistons fan, very encouraging signs from a guy who missed just about all last season with the way Cade Cunningham played here over the past few days.
So, Tim, you've had a peek behind the curtain for the last couple of days getting to watch these practices. I want to bring Chiney, Ramona, and Perk back into the discussion here because we're going to get our first chance to take a look at this tonight in the game versus Puerto Rico. So, Perk, what are you going to be watching most closely in this scrimmage?
You know what? Excuse me. I know I'm tripping right now, but I coached my last AAU basketball tournament this past weekend, and I was doing a lot of yelling. But I'm looking at Mikal Bridges. And no, I didn't get ejected, but think about when Mikal Bridges got to Brooklyn. In my opinion, he looks like the franchise player. And he's the best two-way player on this Team USA right now. I'm looking to see what he's going to do, his growth, how he's going to continue to grow, because I want to see if he's able to continue to keep this energy when he has other franchise guys on the roster with him. Like, can he take over a game where the social media is going viral because he's lighting it up or he's having a 30-piece? So I got my eye on Mikal Bridges, especially tonight. I'm going to be watching.
Yeah, what to watch for in this matchup is who will emerge as the leader. And me making a guess, I went similar to Steve Kerr and Jalen Brunson, just because he seems like he has that tenacity offensively to keep them in formation. I mean, what did he do last season with the Knicks? Career highs in points per game, assists per game, field goal percentage, and also elevated those around him. Julius Randle, an all-star playing with him. R.J. Barrett, a better season. And you think about it, the Knicks overall, I mean, they had the most wins, 47 wins since the 2013 season. He is a leader, and I'm glad that, like, I was thinking the same way as Steve Kerr. Like, the point guard will dictate, but it might be a surprise to see who else is really like that vocal leader too, someone maybe particularly in the paint. So I'm going to see like who's pointing, who's getting everyone information. My idea is Jalen, but I'd love to be pleasantly surprised by someone else as well.
I want to watch the style that they play with. This is Steve Kerr's first time coaching the national team. We saw Greg Popovich play in this role, but I've seen Steve Kerr as a head coach for the Golden State Warriors. And we know how the Warriors play, right? Steph Curry running around, Klay Thompson, don't dribble, just shoot it, with the ball's moving and it's flowing, and it looks so effortless. It's controlled chaos. But they have plays, like you have to learn how to play that style. And this national team has had a couple of days to learn the way that Steve Kerr wants them to play. It's also different on the international stage and with the international rules. So I think it's going to be an interesting stylistic watch tonight.
My thing that I'm watching comes with a question for Tim Bontemps, because I'm very curious who's going to start and what the rotations are going to look like, right? Because I was reading, Tim, that in the last 2 days, Steve Kerr has started 4 out of the 5 positions, the same players at 4 of them. And then we saw Anthony Edwards in the starting lineup. We saw Cam Johnson in the starting lineup. But it's Mikal Bridges, Brandon Ingram, Jaren Jackson Jr., and Brunson have started in every single game. So what more can you tell us about how Steve Kerr's thinking about that?
Yeah, Malika, I think we can expect to see those 4 guys out there in the starting lineup tonight against Puerto Rico. I think, as you mentioned, with Anthony Edwards starting in that scrimmage on Saturday with the way that 5-man unit played, dominating the select team, I think it's likely he will play. And like you, I'm curious to see what the rotation looks like after that. Another guy Steve Kerr has talked about a ton is Lakers forward Austin Reeves. Really likes his passing ability, his ability to handle the ball. I think he's going to play a lot. I think we're going to see some of Tyrese Halliburton and Jalen Brunson playing together in a 2-point guard lineup. Steve Kerr has talked a lot about that.
Yep.
I'm also curious to see whether Walker Kessler or Bobby Portis emerges as the backup center behind Jaren Jackson Jr. He, Mikal Bridges, and Jalen Brunson clearly are the cornerstones of this team. And then I think in general, as Ramona pointed out, Steve Kerr has raved about this group's passing. And we know from the moment he got to the Warriors, he has emphasized ball movement and flow around the court. He's been very, very happy with how much they've been passing the ball, how willing guys have been to move the ball and get open shots. And I think we're going to see a lot of Team USA trying to emulate that Warriors free-flowing style tonight against Puerto Rico and as they get ready for this tournament.
Well, you know what else they're going to emulate? The Warriors going small. Because you reported that you haven't seen Jaren Jackson Jr., Walker Kessler, or Bobby Portis, any of the 2 of the 3 of them on the floor at the same time. So it's going to be very interesting to see how that sticks up. I do want to talk a little bit more about Jaren Jackson Jr., Tim, so please stick around, because coming up on NBA Today, the West, it is stacked with contenders. But where do the Grizzlies fall in that conversation? Tim Bontemps, he is with us with their mindset heading into next season without Ja Morant. NBA Today will be back after the break.
Just put a Richard on the card. I ain't going playing ball.
You are the NBA MVP.
Really roll apart till you fall and you're back against the wall.
71 points. One of the all-time great performances.
Still going bad on you anyway.
It's the NBA's new all-time scoring king.
Playing with my nigga, this lethal, dog. Don Corleone. At the top, it isn't lonely.
With the first pick. Something that I've been dreaming of my whole life.
Don't just say it now, you gotta show me, dog.
Denver Nuggets can finally call.
Loaded heading into next season. The reigning champs favored to win the conference. That surprises no one. They're followed by the teams who retooled in the Suns, the Warriors, the Clippers, the Lakers. One team, though, that's not in the top 5 here, the Memphis Grizzlies. They are coming in 6th as we say hello once again to Tim Bontemps, who is still in Las Vegas. And you've been watching Jaren Jackson Jr. up close this past weekend, these last couple of days. He's been practicing with Team USA. You were able to catch up with him, and not only did he talk about the World Cup, but he also talked about the Grizzlies. Can you tell us a little bit more about that conversation, about what stood out to you, Tim?
Yeah, Malika, well, it's obviously been a very eventful summer on a lot of fronts for the Memphis Grizzlies. There's obviously the Ja Morant suspension. He's going to miss the first 25 games of the season. They also gave Desmond Bane, the other star player with the Grizzlies, a $200 million max extension. They let Dylan Brooks leave in free agency. He went to the Houston Rockets, and then they replaced him with Marcus Smart. So they now have the 2 back-to-back Defensive Player of the Year winners on the Grizzlies roster. And Jaren talked about all those things with me. As for Ja Morant, missing him for the first 25 games, he said that would be a blow to their roster, but also said that the Grizzlies have missed a bunch of key guys over the past couple of years, have been able to win a lot of games anyway. Jaren has missed significant time. Desmond Bane missed a bunch of time this year. And Ja Morant has also missed significant time. And the Grizzlies have still managed to be near the top of the conference, giving him confidence the Grizzlies could do that again. He was thrilled about the addition of Marcus Smart, said he thinks he can help them both on the court and in the locker room, as a vocal presence in both places certainly gives them that perimeter defender to replace Dylan Brooks on the court. And as for Desmond Bane, I asked if he was excited about that extension. He started laughing and said he got a boatload of money. So, of course, he was thrilled for him. But typically, the Grizzlies are still a confident bunch, as Jaren Jackson showed this weekend, and they feel good about their chances of being right in the mix at the top of the West next year, despite not having their star point guard for the first third of the year.
Well, and I get that, because when you look at history, right, they were second in the West last year, even when Ja Morant missed a ton of games, when you look at his injury history and all that stuff. But it was Tyus Jones, right, who stepped up in his absence, and they don't have him this year, Perk. So if they are going to do what they did again, if they are going to defy the odds, if they are going to do the improbable, what is the key that you see here, Kendrick?
Well, I have 2 keys. The first one is Jaren Jackson Jr., right? Now he has to climb into that 22 to 26 points per game, especially while Ja Morant is out. First time All-Star last year, Defensive Player of the Year. We know what he brings on the defensive side of things. Now offensively, getting into his bag, holding it down. The offense is going to be ran through him. We know he's versatile when it comes to picking and popping. Also, the addition of Marcus Smart. What have we been talking about for so long with the Memphis Grizzlies? Getting some leadership in that locker room. So not only the addition of Marcus Smart, but Derrick Rose. Now the Memphis Grizzlies have everything and more, especially when Ja Morant returns, to actually make a legitimate push in the Western Conference. And nobody could say frown upon it.
That's true. I think the key also is just finding an identity that's more closely tied to, like, the basketball, because they do a lot of great things on the court because, you know, they embrace this idea of being, you know, villains in the world of heroes and villains, but they flew a little bit too close to the sun when it came to villains. And so now it's like, what do we do well that we can apply every time we touch the floor? They led the NBA in points per game under Coach Taylor Jenkins, which, by the way, they've done that 4 years straight, which is impressive. They have a great homestand ability, 35-6 at home. So once you find that identity that keeps them together every night, I think they'll feel better about themselves because it's just plug and play after that.
I mean, I think it's all about maturity for them. They have the talent, and they've had the talent for a couple of years here. And the question is, when do they grow up? When do they take that step forward? I'm very high on the Memphis Grizzlies this year. I love the addition of Marcus Smart and Derrick Rose. John Morant's only going to miss a quarter of the season here. And anything, I think the biggest addition will be Steven Adams, getting him back into that lineup after that knee injury that he had last year. But I think they have the talent. They just needed the maturity to go with it, and they have that now.
That's the perfect word, maturity and health. If they can get Steven Adams, if Desmond Bane, who our Tim McMahon has reported is on track to return at the start of the season, if all of that goes their way, there is every reason to believe that the Memphis Grizzlies will be at the top of the conference. Tim Bontemps, thank you so much. We will see you tomorrow right here on NBA Today. But later in our show, we have full highlights from last night's dominating win for the Liberty. Should there be any concern here for the Aces? Rebecca Lobo, she joins us right after the break. Welcome back to NBA Today. What a weekend it was in the W, headlined between a Sunday showdown, the league's two super teams. Let's take a look at how this went down. It was not Chiney Ogwumike, how I necessarily expected. Sabrina Ionescu, setting the tone early there.
I mean, A'ja is so good blocking the ball, keeping her feet active, but look at that dime, but then also the chase down right there.
When you see effort like that from your best player, it's going to be a different kind of game.
It raises the intensity.
Although I did get a little nervous when she fell down.
It raises
nervous
level.
multiple times during this one.
A'ja Wilson hit hard. Let's take one more look at what happened there.
JJ, that's an elbow to the chin.
She would be assessed a flagrant foul for that one.
It was a spicy day, actually, yesterday in the W.
It was a spicy day, and the tone was officially set. It was like, all right, bet, let's get to work. And you know who got to work? Sabrina Ionescu. Jonquel Jones, the miss. Tracks it down.
And I think Sluty went number 2 all time in WNBA in assists. I mean, look at this dime.
That's a Steph Curry shot right there.
Where's the number? We need our second spectrum analytics. That one, how many feet was that? Unreal. And then look how little space she needs to get her shot off. She got to be on point.
All over the place. Ionescu became only the 3rd player in WNBA history with 90-plus threes in a season, joining Diana Taurasi and Kelsey Plum. She just had it going all night long. And then heading to the 4th quarter here, the Liberty up big, outscoring the Aces 30-9 in the 3rd.
Throw it where you can finish it. Beautiful.
Vandersloot to Jones. That's Vandersloot's 2,600th career assist. The Liberty win. Let's hear from Sabrina.
For us, it was a message. They got us at their place really good, and we wanted to make sure that we came in ready and we were able to show our fans, but also ourselves, the improvement that we've had over the last couple months since we've last seen them. And we're excited to continue to build because we haven't reached our full potential yet. Obviously, throughout the next month, we're going to see them a lot. And so we have to continue to just make adjustments and play within ourselves and continue to get better. And not, like Coach said, we're not sitting here jumping for joy that we beat them. I think for us, it's just a wake-up call of how good we can actually be. And that's the standard of New York basketball. And now we have to continue to get better throughout the next month.
Now welcoming in the Hall of Famer who was on the call for the game, Rebecca Lobo. Rebecca, I don't know that this one went down, at least the way that I thought it was going to. What stood out to you watching the way that the Liberty just dismantled the Aces up close yesterday?
The biggest thing that struck me was the New York Liberty's defense. There are times this year where they have struggled on the end of the floor, in particular in their first matchup against the Vegas Aces, where they allowed Vegas to score 50 points in the paint. It was a completely different story yesterday, in particular in the second half, where Vegas could barely score 17 second half points for them. And part of it was by design. The New York Liberty's defense, they were able to play differently. They clogged the paint. Jonquel Jones played way off of Kia Stokes. She switched down on the perimeter. She was able to block shots, get defensive boards. She was able to wreak havoc on that end of the floor. And keep in mind, when these teams played the first time, Candace Parker was still healthy. Candace Parker, a player who can stretch the floor, who doesn't allow you to clog the paint that way. Things have changed now with her out of the lineup because of injury, and New York took advantage of that on the defensive end.
Rebecca, we've talked about both the Liberty and the Aces here as super teams, but I wonder, were the Liberty able, in your estimation, to send any sort of message about the gap between them and the Aces and everyone else, and maybe it's not as wide as it once appeared?
I think certainly so. I was of the mind that you had a couple tiers in the WNBA, that Vegas was all by themselves in the top tier, and then in the next tier you had the New York Liberty, Connecticut Sun, and Dallas Wings, and then other teams below that, Washington, if they can get healthy. And why is that? Well, the last time these teams played, Vegas not only won by 17, but they were up by 20 plus with 5 minutes to go. They looked like the much better team. Well, things changed yesterday, and part of that is the defensive scheme that New York was able to use. Part of that is, yes, Candace Parker is no longer on the Vegas Aces in terms of being healthy and in the lineup. They won 8 games without her, but yesterday in particular in that matchup, they sorely missed her. So, yeah, I think things have changed a little bit.
But you know this better than anyone. This is chess, not checkers, because these two teams, they still play each other 3 more times this month alone, the first of which, of course, is on Thursday. How do you expect Las Vegas to try to bounce back here?
Well, you know, their first bounce back is going to be tomorrow. They play at Dallas tomorrow. And remember, Dallas is a team that beat them in Dallas earlier this season. It's going to be a great test for Vegas because where they really struggled yesterday, scoring everywhere in the second half, but where they really struggled was on the glass. New York had 48 rebounds to Vegas's 24. Well, now they're going to play Dallas. Dallas is the #1 team in the league in offensive rebounds, in total rebounds. They're really going to test them there. So Vegas has tests before they get to play the Liberty again. And then when they do, it's going to be fun to see that chess match and to see what Becky Hammon does. Now, when Jonquel Jones switches out onto Chelsea Gray, I think they'll certainly have a counter for that. So it's going to be fun to watch how this all plays out over the course of the next couple weeks.
Yeah, we had Stewie on the show last week, and she was just talking about how difficult it is to play a team that many times in such a short proximity to one another because you're just making these tiny little adjustments. It almost has a playoff feel to it, and that game, once again, is next Thursday. Rebecca Lobo, thank you so much for spending a little time with us here on NBA Today. Catch the Liberty on ESPN on Sunday. Stewie, Sabrina, and company try to keep it rolling in Indiana as they take on Aaliyah Boston and the Fever. Coverage tips at 2:30 Eastern, 11:30 Pacific with WNBA Countdown. So before we go, Team USA, they did a little spin the ball on your finger challenge. Austin Reeves, Jaren Jackson Jr., Paolo Banchero.
Okay.
Trying to...
Whose was the best?
Mine.
Oh, I remember.
Shout out, my hair was so short. Shout out Krista, because I could not have done that.
Not bad.
No. She started it.
Yeah,
going,
Krista did all the work.
Did all the work.
She was like, just don't move, Malika.
Can you do it, Ramona?
I can do it for about 3 seconds.
Where's their ball?
Where's the ball?
I would do it, but my nails.
Yeah, see, I don't have the right shaped finger.
Yeah, I can't do it either.
And that's where we're going to end the show for today.
There it goes. I see it. It's going.
We will see you tomorrow.
What's wrong with your finger?
Yeah, Mark, it's like...